episode loaded and paused at the 0-second mark. And without further ado, if you've been here before, you know what we're doing next. If you're new, grab your remote, have your thumb on that play button, but don't press it, because we're going to do that at the same time on the count of 3. Ready? Ready. 1, 2, 3.
Gary Stewart must have died just before this episode or whatnot. He was a very, very good friend of Amy and Dan's, and he was actually on Gilmore Girls. He was in the episode He's Slipping Him Bread Dig. He was the soundboard operator. He's a good friend, big music guy.
Wow, thank you for sharing that context. I looked it up, and he actually worked on the Maisel soundtrack, so that must be why they were mentioning.
Yeah, he was he was just a really close friend of theirs, and he worked for a record label, and he put out a lot of those like compilations, like Rhino compilations of like various like 60s sounds or the sound of the 90s, that kind of stuff.
Are these supposed to be the Rockettes or just like a random dance?
I mean, they're like the Rockettes, but this is a USO show, so I don't think it's necessarily like a specific group. They probably traveled around.
Yeah, it could be like a version of them.
Yeah.
I wonder if there was like the Rockettes as a brand. They had different like little satellite groups that did stuff like this at USO events.
Yeah, like a USO dance troupe.
Yeah, I have heard about them doing things at like for the troops and things. That's why I was asking. I like how when the show opens, it kind of picks up right where it ended last season. But
great. Apparently, they did shows for the USO in the 40s after World War II. So maybe it was the Rocket.
Yeah, you gotta imagine what did it read in the script, and my guess is it said in the script Rockettes. Because why not? You're writing a script, you have free, liberty to write whatever you want. Like, I imagine that they wrote the word Rockettes in the script.
This hat is not my favorite.
Oh, be careful then which hat you choose from the collection.
You don't like those tassels? I don't. It reminds me of a graduation cap that's trying to be hip and trendy.
But I love her outfit. I love the brown pants and the color that she's wearing. I think it looks really good on her.
I know, I do.
Oh, I love that too. But the hat, not
fit in with the army theme.
Do you like the hat? I think it like fits with the army thing that she's doing. But yeah. I could go without the tassel though.
She's like, I don't know the words to White Christmas. I'm Jewish. But she's going to have to sing it with them.
Spoiler alert, Irving Berlin was Jewish. Who wrote White Christmas?
Oh, that's interesting.
Susie reaching out her arms for them to do the same thing.
And she's so teeny tiny short. She could have used the help.
I know.
I like that opening. I think I enjoyed the switchboard operator, that one opening with the
You like that?
department
Yeah.
the department store one. I think I liked a little bit.
I really liked that.
Keep it clean, Midge.
It was a Richard. That was my favorite.
Those are some pretty specific asks. Oh, I love this group. That was a big chunk of change back then.
Oh my gosh.
Baby
Pumpkin
goats,
with
baby
baby
goats.
goats in it. That's really
I know everybody needs big goats.
We're gonna have baby cows very soon.
Baby cow.
They better not be born this month because we're getting way too much snow.
I love this dress. Too much snow for baby cow.
Watch for birthing videos from me. Various things of cute baby, fuzzy baby cows.
I love that outfit.
It's an adorable outfit. I really love this too, and like the red in the back.
Yeah,
So
it's so patriotic.
It is.
I mean, somebody would have had to have made that for her special, right? Like she has
Did you know-
It's
Did you all notice the tits up? They did salutes off of the tits. That was awesome.
I just realized the last episode that I hosted was Thank You and Good Night was also a Christmas episode. So I got 2 Christmas episodes and I love Christmas.
I like your hair here too.
I did the inflation calculation. That would amount to about $42,000 now.
Oh, interesting. Thank you for looking that up, Kendra.
Kendra did math.
Well, I let my phone do the math for me.
These jokes here are great.
Is he trying to recruit her?
That's what I was thinking.
A strong young man like yourself. They just love her. They are eating her up.
I loved that routine.
And it was cute. But now she
You
realizes
have to like introduce him.
I forgot to introduce Shy Baldwin. That's why I'm here.
Yikes.
So the guy who's actually singing the vocals here is Darius DeHaas, and he is known for his work on Chicago and Anastasia.
I was just gonna ask whether that's the actor.
I love that he has a button down.
Poor Susie.
So that was actually a popular song from 1940 by an artist named Vera Lynn called "A Nightingale Sang in Berkeley Square." I'd never heard of that song before, so I just thought I'd share that. Who do you think Midge is gonna go call?
I'd be calling my
Oh,
baby.
of course.
You think we're gonna see Benjamin in this episode?
No.
Not a chance.
I have lots to say about this conversation after that.
I didn't even realize people had dishwashers back then. We didn't get one until I moved out of my family's house. My dad always said he had 4 dishwashers.
That little scene. I'm not a huge fan of telephone call scenes in general, but that one was really good.
It was good.
I liked it because we got to see both sides of the telephone conversation and not just one side.
You can kind of empathize with both of them in that moment.
Well, yeah, usually in telephone scenes, you only see one person speaking, but you got to see both of them.
Back and forth, yeah. So Bayard Street is actually a road in Chinatown, and Chinatown is kind of in like the lower part of Manhattan, the lower half.
I love her, by the way. She's one of my favorite smaller characters on the show.
Mrs. Moskowitz.
Mrs. Moskowitz. I love her. I would love to have her come join us once.
Just say watermelon over and over again.
If you don't know the words, yeah.
This I'm not quite buying. I mean, it. Well, you tell me, Curry, Nancy. Realistic that at this time a Jewish girl wouldn't know White Christmas.
I think that it's a bit disingenuous.
It really is, right?
You can't help know it.
It's all over. It's like pop culture of that time. It's everywhere.
Particularly because, well, first of all, isn't that the one that was written by Irving?
Yeah, Irving Berlin.
A
And
Jew.
Jewish.
Or
Yes,
the
that's
movie
what I said
Holiday
earlier.
Inn in 1942.
And the White Christmas movie.
And also the movie would have made it popular as well. And also she works in a department store, so of course it's going to be played over and over. But I think that was just a way for her to reinforce her otherness, maybe.
They all want her autograph. She's gaining some fame and notoriety.
And picture.
I am liking this this episode a lot better than I did the opening of season 2.
We know she has plenty of clothes at home, an entire room full of dresses.
He's wearing a fur coat.
Look who it is, John.
And he's got the fur on. Is that the fur coat or just a blanket?
That's the fur coat.
Blanket
that's what I
and
thought.
the fur coat.
What she's using for.
The clap was worth it.
There it is. First season, some of you were hinting that maybe she
I've
had
been
a lot of
waiting
money.
and waiting
There
and
it
waiting and
is.
Mic drop.
episodes buffer.
We're at the part where she gets flowers from Lenny Bruce.
I know that's where it just started buffering. I've seen this before, so I'll catch up with it.
I hate the way they always turn the marriage thing around as it's her fault, because it's not.
That's awesome.
Now he's got a problem to deal with that he was not expecting.
This is a new character. This is
Yeah,
a new
I
important character.
I love her.
You can feel it. You can feel it.
She talking about family gathering.
Yeah.
I was just trying to catch up.
Prediction. I got a prediction.
It's probably similar to the one I'm having.
What's your
Love interest. Love interest. Ooh, this is exciting. Do we think he's gonna like Lenny? Do we think he's gonna like him? Predictions.
I think he will.
I think he's gonna love him.
I think so.
I think Abe just found his new cause.
Freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's godmother.
Oh, this is already an awesome little scene.
Yay, dancing and music.
I like her blue dress here too. And the little flower on her waist.
Be at war soon enough.
This is an interesting turn of events.
And Midge builds a mountain, season 1.
Rose's body language says a lot there.
Good
That
stuff.
was a really good episode.
I love the ending
Yeah.
of this episode.
So about the popularity about White Christmas, it was very popular. It was like on number 23 on Billboard's pop singles chart after Perry Como recorded a stereo version of his song in 1959. So it was still a very popular song. So I think most people in America probably did know the song. Jewish or Christian or not Christian, Jewish or not Jewish. I think
If anybody wants to come up, they can raise their hand.
So that was a good episode. That was a really good episode.
Yeah, the White Christmas song was still very popular in 1959. It was still popular well into the 60s. Everybody kept recording it. So yes, what we were saying earlier, she should have, I think everybody would have known that song.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah, I
now
think
see
so.
why it's my favorite season opener, right?
I was gonna say, and especially the opening scene, the dance and the
Right.
just that whole presentation is
Yeah, it's great. I still think that I still think I prefer that opener, the B. Altman opener, with the switchboards and all of that.
You
I
just
think
mean the
I
cold
think
open, right?
yeah, the cold open. Isn't that what you're talking about here?
season 2.
No, I'm talking about the whole episode. Like, it's my favorite season premiere.
Oh, season premiere. Oh, season premiere. Yeah, I guess I'm trying to remember what the season premiere of season 2 was. Like,
It was sort of the aftermath of well, it was her being banished to the basement and all that.
oh, right. Yeah, I really liked the episode. I thought it was cool. I'm really fascinated with all of this stuff with this bar that Joel is opening up. That's really interesting, and this new character is also very interesting. And I'm predicting probably a love interest. Definitely feels like it. The actress playing the role had a confidence in the scene that felt to me like this is a character that is like Benjamin grade, like going to be on all season.
It wasn't a one-off. It was
Not at all.
It was more substantial.
Yeah.
They gave her more.
That scene had a lot of meat to it. It had a lot of like, who is this person? A lot of mystery. It had all of the signs of this is a character that you want to keep your eye on. And so I'm thinking love interest because I feel like there is a dynamic between the two of them that like they kind of need each other, it seems like, right? Like he's going to be up there, she's going to be down there, like, you know, so it's like that kind of symbiotic relationship, then coupled with all of the like relationship stuff that he has to be dealing with Midge and all of that. It seems like this would be an interesting love triangle to throw into the mix.
I also liked how it kind of ended like one of the episodes in season 1 where Midge bails out Lenny Bruce, and now Rose bails out both Abe and Lenny Bruce.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All that stuff with Abe there at the end, with the watching Lenny and getting also, I mean, getting thrown into jail. I mean, you know, that's kind of been a big thing with Abe regarding Midge, because he you know, found out that she had been thrown into jail. You know, she'd been arrested at a comedy club, you know, so there's something interesting about now he has that on his record as well. He couldn't get hired at Bell Labs again.
And it marks a change in his personality and his whole drive of what his priorities are, and the fact that he's getting back in touch with how he has longed for that sort of meaningfulness in his life, and that whole diatribe about when did I become a man who you know, who is so materialistic, and when he went there, like when you were predicting, I think he's gonna like Lenny Bruce, it was like it sort of awakened something in him.
Yeah, I almost got the sense that he wanted to be arrested, that he actually like kind of instigated it a bit, sort of wanting to walk out with them.
I got a message that says that Lenny Bruce and Jack Kerouac are in the same group of artists. That's kind of how it explains.
Oh yeah. Oh right.
Yes, they are.
That's right. I mean, they are considered, the Beats. That's correct. Yeah. So it's like the fact that he would know who Jack Kerouac was, but wouldn't know Lenny Bruce is kind of hypocritical, right? Like, you know, it's like, oh yeah, you just know the writer. But there are important things happening in other art forms as well, Dad.
Well, what they said was, what Diana said to me was, she was one who mentioned that to me in the back channel. She can't talk right now, but she said that it's, you know, Jack Kerouac is Abe's and Lenny Bruce is Midge's. It's what brings them together. It's what shows that they're cut from the same cloth. And it's also would explain why Abe would support Lenny once he sees what's happening with him. But yeah, they kind of go together.
It's super
I didn't
cool.
say it as well as she would, but but yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I like
it's one of the things I really like about the episode. It really kind of shows that Abe was a little bit, he's not quite as stuffy as he appears at times. He really has something in him that we haven't really seen yet. And I think we're hopefully going to get to see that.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like he's transforming. Like, I mean, that there's some real growth to his character. That he's got a real arc, which I'm loving that. It's great. That's something that I really, really love about the show, is that they are really taking all of these characters, all of them, on really big character journeys, and they all feel like they're transforming and growing.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I just feel like the show just kind of keeps like showing us new things about these characters that we already like, and it's just not. It's I don't know. It just makes it so much fun to watch. Makes you wonder what's going to happen with Rose now. Now that we know she has a trust fund that she's been supplementing their lifestyle with.
I guess we should have assumed that. I mean, going to Paris, just picking up and leaving, going to Paris, like how is that possible? It does feel a little out of the blue, in the sense that they didn't. it's not that they didn't drop hints. They did drop
Yeah, I was
hints,
gonna
but
say
they
they
were
hinted
very,
at it.
yeah, but they were extremely subtle, those hints. And then we just sort of start off this episode with just like a big reveal. Oh, I have a trust fund, you know, I think I would have probably preferred it if that had sort of dribbled out rather than just in one big opening dialogue scene. Because all of the hints that we got were all very subtle hints up until then. So that, I think that's my only critique of the fact that she has a trust fund, is that it just kind of all spilled out quickly. You know, it wasn't even that she was caught in it, she just said it, you know, and you're kind of like, wow, 2 seasons, you never had the chance to say it ever before. It just felt a little placed for me.
But it does support that idea. We were wondering, how could they afford to live the way they do on his income as a teacher? But we learned that the school owns the apartment, and now we've learned that she's been supplementing their life.
Yeah, no, I get that. I totally understand that. Like, you know, I'm just saying, just from a writing perspective, for it to have been so subtle, and for it to be like a lot of questions that we're asking to all be just answered in one scene at the very beginning of this season, just felt a bit placed. I would have preferred for that information, if they really wanted it to come out at the very beginning of the season or during this episode, for it to sort of fall out, you know, over the course of maybe several scenes. But just for it to just be told to us at the very beginning of the scene, after all of this very subtle hinting throughout the series, it just didn't feel quite as deft, I guess I would say.
I think though that that particular storyline would have had to have been moved maybe to the season. In other words, the episode before the penultimate episode. In other words, because there was so much to take care of in that last episode of season 2, that to also say, well, we'll just rely on my trust fund or whatever, you know, at the end of season 2, I think there was something about making it at the beginning of this season that opens up a whole new pathway for them, that I just don't think that it would have. I don't know. I think that if it had been said,
but that's sort of the point that I mean, is that it feels like writers opening up a pathway.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all. That's the only point that I make.
It doesn't feel earned so much. It just feels like, here, I'm going to give you this, and now watch what we do with it.
Yeah, and that's not to say that writers didn't talk about in previous seasons, like, you know, where do they get this money, and, you know, probably, you know, she probably has money in a trust fund, or what if she has a trust fund? Have we ever considered that? It's just the fact that the opportunity was taken in a very just in a very big, obvious way, when everything up until then was really kind of in a not so obvious way, very subtle, very like maybe not, who knows, hard to say, you know. And I'm just saying, you know, if they wanted to reveal it this season, I would have probably preferred that it be revealed a little bit slower over the course of either the season or over the episode. For it to happen at like literally the beginning of the episode with just like a big speech just felt placed to me.
Well, and it kind of makes you wonder, did the other characters, like, does Midge know that her mom was using a trust fund? Because what did they think she went to Paris on? What was she living on? Did they know that? We just didn't know that. You know, they could have, I see what you're saying. They could have slowly revealed it over season 2, leading into season 3. But
or they could have revealed it, or they could have revealed it over. Sorry. They could have revealed it over the course of season 3, or they could have revealed it over the course of the first episode of season 3. The only comment I'm making is that literally one of the first scenes of the series of season 3, it's just like said. It's just like, just told to everybody, like, okay, we need this information out there. We need you to understand this. We need to do it. Let's do it right now.
And
I see it
I
upset
think
Josie too. Sorry.
yeah, right. Josie does not like the overt.
No, yeah, well, Mama just gave her to me, and I guess she didn't really want to be given to me. But I'm here. You got to deal with me. Sorry.
I think also that I would have no trouble believing that Midge did like some, where if Midge wondered why she was able to afford going to Paris and this and all of, I would have no trouble believing that Midge does not know anything about where her parents' money comes from, because, or that it's just a known thing that Mom has money and that that Rose has money and that it just doesn't get talked about, because quite often in that situation it doesn't get talked about, and it's just sort of known and doesn't need to be mentioned. And I think that Midge, I mean, when Joel left her, I think in one conversation or another, well, for sure when Moisha revealed that it was him that bought the apartment, or that he owned the apartment, she didn't really know where their money came from or how much money they had. And when it was revealed that he didn't have any savings, she even reproached Joel and said, Joel, but that was the first time after having 2 children with him, not really knowing day to day where the money was coming from or who had the money.
Something she wasn't supposed to really worry about.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, but speaking of Joel, I remember Mandy saying something, she had thoughts about that conversation between Joel and Midge on the phone. And I'm curious what they are.
I thought it was cool. I thought it was a really cool scene.
It was.
As I said, I'm not a huge fan of telephone scenes. I don't know why. I just there's something about telephone scenes that are just a little. Yeah, I'm not.
Usually you just get to see one side. So.
Well, just I don't know. I don't know why. I just don't know why. But I like characters to be face to face.
Interesting that you were in a show where a lot happened.
I know a lot of phone stuff in Gilmore Girls. Yeah.
And not you.
No. But I really liked this. I really liked the scene a lot. I thought it was really cool and said a lot. It's funny, we were having a conversation about this on Discord about how much Joel should be leaving her alone. How much he is either being a presence that is actually leading to more dysfunction, and how much it's her. And I think that this scene seems to suggest that he's actually pulling away and not actually putting a lot of pressure on her, which I think also supports this other theory that I have, that we're going to see that in a much bigger way with this new character that is in his club.
Do you think he'll succeed with this club? Oh, sorry, Mandy. Were you gonna?
I'm sorry. Yeah, Mandy. What were you thinking on it?
I actually, the scene made me really irritated, but not for the reasons that you might think. I actually found it extremely unfair of Midge, because when she went there that night, she made it clear that she just wanted to be with somebody who loved her for a night. And then now she has all these expectations, which isn't fair, because she kind of made it clear that she didn't want anything. She just wanted to not feel lonely.
Like she's confused about her own feelings or something?
Yeah, so it made me a little annoyed that she expected Joel to call after she left without saying goodbye. And she hadn't bothered calling him or anything like that. And she's like offended that he didn't call, but she made it clear that she wasn't there for a relationship. She was there so she didn't feel lonely for the night. So I actually am completely on Joel's side for this one. And it kind of made me a little annoyed at Midge because I'm like, I don't know why you're being so like almost like entitled right now.
But I think, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I think in the 1950s, 1960s, women were not supposed to call men. Even if they were their husbands, you know, the man was supposed to make the first move. And they were like, kind of like still like, they were married still. They have not been divorced yet. And they're still in that, okay, is this a relationship or not? Men were supposed to make that first move, not a woman.
But
So
Yeah, but
she
told him
she made it very clear to him that like this is one night, and also, you know,
Right,
Midge is cut from a different cloth, and she's very she's made it very clear, I lead, I'm in control here. And maybe that's largely because she feels like I deserve that. You were the one who cheated on me and I got, you know, but he is, to his credit here, like accepting it. Now, maybe, you know, maybe we could argue that he should like when she walked in and said, I want to, you know, I want to have one night with you. Maybe the answer should have been, no, sorry, you need to leave. And that's something that I could certainly fault Joel for, but I can't fault Joel for not calling her after that. I mean,
I don't
She did
fault
sneak
him for
out.
I don't fault him for not, but I think that's where in the 50s, the man was supposed to make that first call. And a woman didn't make that first call over a man for in a relationship. That's all I'm saying. She, yes, all right was, don't call me. I just want this to be a one night stand. So he didn't know where he stood, but
Yeah.
you know, right.
yeah, he doesn't even think that there is a
I think
relationship.
his point was, I think his point was he shouldn't have had to call, that she shouldn't have been expecting him to call, that he was doing what she basically told him. that
Exactly.
night.
And it also
Right.
speaks to the fact that she kind of wants things both ways.
Yep.
She wants her independence. She wants to be able to follow her dream, but
Right.
she also wants the comfort of knowing that she's loved, which is what she said. I want to be with someone who loves me, and that she and I guess in a way she's sort of taking him for granted.
Right. That's exactly, I mean, I think that's what I'm trying to say. She's
And-
trying to like lead him on to call her again.
And
She's not really saying that.
and you can feel his frustration in the scene because you can feel that he understands that he understands, like, I am really a tool here for you right now. Like you need to be loved when you want to be loved. You need to have your space when you want to have your space. And I get to be this perfect tool that gives you all of those things. And you can just feel his frustration. Now, does he deserve it? Maybe. I mean, you know, like we could argue that, like, you know, that's what you get for having done what he did. But I also think that there's a lot to be said for how much Midge really needs to grow and change and become a better person.
Thank you, everybody, for helping me get that up, because that's exactly what I was trying to say. Yeah, she knows that she told him no, but she kind of still expects him to behave like the man that should make the call. But yeah, and he's frustrated, but yeah.
Folks, I actually have to go. Babsy and I are heading out